Welcome to Wordpath, the show about Oklahoma Indian languages and the people who are teaching and preserving them. Tonight we'll see some taped presentations from this year's Preston Language Conference, sponsored by the Oklahoma Native Language Association and Northeastern State University in Tahlequah. The conference takes place in Preston, Oklahoma, which is a few miles north of Okmulgee, at a very pleasant, beautiful place in the woods, a Methodist church camp. Very nice. The excerpts we're going to see tonight are from two of the presentations there that both relate to language teaching methodology and also to using stories in the language teaching process. First, let's look at a demonstration of a teaching model called TPR, or Total Physical Response. This is a well-established model that's known in the language teaching world for teaching English or any other language. And it's going to be demonstrated here by Dr. Mayrene Bentley, professor of English at OU. And she's going to use some Cherokee examples. She'll tell you more about it. Let's just take a look at the tape.
And all I wanted to do today was, Carol asked me to share a language method that Lucille mentioned earlier, TPR. I was just exposed to it this summer in Oklahoma City. There was a workshop for 4 days with the man who is the author of this method. One of you may know this method because I met several Native Americans from Canada who praised this method. They were very pleased with it when they were teaching their languages. Blaine Gray is the man. He's actually from California, but he was in Oklahoma City in June when I attended the workshop. And you're welcome to look at this book. I made a handout. I didn't know how many people would be here. I made only 15 of these. So I'd be happy to share it. You're welcome to take it. What I did on this handout was summarize some of the things I learned from the workshop, as well as included some of the worksheets that some of the presenters at the workshop gave us. So please take one of these if you like. What I've given you is the website. If you're interested in this method, you can look at the materials on the website. Also, they have an 800 number. If you get really interested, I also brought this sheet they gave us where you can order like even a video if you want to watch how he teaches this method. What I'm doing, I'm teaching French this fall at Northeastern, which I think is on the way of going to an endangered language because Spanish is becoming so popular now. We have 100 students enrolled in Spanish at Northeastern, but we only have like 19 students in French, and it's very hard to keep them. I tried this method. I'm doing it right now. I don't know it that well, but I'm trying to do it. The students like it. Who else has used total physical response? Lucille?
Explain it. What do you
Well, right. I'm going to try to explain it. What I did was make a worksheet. I'm doing it in Cherokee. You're welcome to. I only have 15 because I didn't know how many people would be here. Many people that work together. You can share it, right? Yeah. You can share it. The whole point of this is to get you to physically respond to learning a language. So I thought we could try it. I'm not an expert because I've only been doing it since August, for 8 weeks now. But in any case, it's a little different because Cherokee generally, we spend a lot of time working with a syllabary. But this you would start off right away with the words and having the students repeat them. But they don't actually repeat the word at first, they make a gesture for it. So I took out some words from the book we generally use for Cherokee by German Feeling, the C.Say Run book. Because I've just been learning Cherokee very briefly also. So, for example, if you wanted to teach the word geese, which is sasa, you would do something like, a gesture. I don't know what you'd want for goose, but in any case, you might do this, geese. And I would stand up here and say the word sasa, and you would do this. You would just listen, all right? And so I would say sasa, and you would go like this, okay? Then another sentence from the both C.Say Right is anagi. I'm not very good at Cherokee, so in any case. So anagi is they're walking. So I would go, you would do, I would say sasa, and you're all going like this, and you're welcome to go with me. And then I say anai. All right? Lucille can correct me. So while I say sasa anai, you should be going, all right? And the point of this method is the more you hear it, the more you learn it. All right? So for several times, I will try to say as much as possible, sasa anai, and you're all just doing this. All right? Okay, then I'll take you on and I'll take you to the next word, sali, which is persimmon. And you can help me make up some gesture for persimmon. I don't know, whether something like, I don't know, some type of fruit, all right? This is creative, okay? So in any case, we can have, I can say, sasa anai, and so you've done this, and then I can say, sali do not duli na sasa. Okay. The geese want persimmons. All right. And while I say that, you need to be doing something like persimmons. Oh, we need a word for want. We need a symbol for want. You can do something like this, want. All right. So you can say, this gets difficult. Let's see. Sali, do not duli, you'd be going, right? Persimmons, they want. Right? So, then we can go into another vocabulary word. We would be practicing this several times, all right? So that you could be hearing me say over and over, sasa, sali, and so forth. We could try something like, another expression from this book is, they are honking, nani way. All right. So we can eat, and another thing that students like to do is make these noises. So when I say nani way, you can all be doing honk, honk. I know it sounds ridiculous, but actually my students are enjoying this, and I've had positive results, and that's why I was encouraged to try and share with you some of what I'm doing in French. Now, and then you can. You take these words that you've been teaching, and then you try to put them in a story. Right? And that's what's a little bit different, and I'm not sure, Lucille, if you've been doing with the storytelling, because originally this started out just as these physical responses, but now this Blaine Ray, who has worked with this method, he's putting these gestures into stories. All right. And the point is, what these Native Americans had said to me from Canada is that they like to use their Native American stories. What I've done here is just trying to make a story using the vocabulary I got from Cisse Wright, like the geese are walking, the geese want persimmons, the geese are honking, and the geese are headed south, they're hungry. What you do then is get two of your students up here, all right, and I could do that. These are Cherokee speakers over here. All right. And you want to try it? You could. What you do is pretend they're the geese. All right.
Make Lyman be the geese.
All right. Why would you want to try it?
I can do geese. The goose.
I actually need two people that want to be the geese. Alright. You want to try it? Okay, go.
So do I have to go? Okay.
Alright, all this is to help students memorize.
Stay here.
Alright. Okay. You want to try it?
Yeah, ready to do it.
Okay, go ahead. Alright. What you want to do is to get them to move. That helps students remember the vocabulary. So for example, we've got the geese are walking, so start walking. Right? And do the gesture as it goes, right? Because you've been hearing that enough so that you should identify it. Okay. Now, the geese want persimmons. Persimmon, all right? Okay.
Would that be more like this?
You could, yes.
I feel more like I'm in love.
It's like desire, but Which so in for south is hard. You got no what? You got no what? You got no what? All right. So, you went the wrong way. Did you go the wrong way? Okay. So, and then finally there, hungry. Do the your salad. You can do whatever you want. Hungry, I know. All right. These are hungry. Okay. So, now he acted that out. And I read the story again, and then I ask one of you to tell me the story, all right, to see if you can remember it now, all right. So I'll ask one of these two because it should be easy. Can you tell me the story now? The geese are walking, the geese want persimmons, they are honking, they are heading south, and they are hungry.
Yeah, you want a Cherokee?
Yes.
Okay. Sally, Sasa Navali, Naniwai. Chicago, Onega Yuki, Sasa. Tuniosi.
Very good. So we say he's a star student. Okay. Because he could do it, in one stroke like that. So now, what I ask you is to turn around and tell your partner the story. All right? So, because you've been hearing it, now it's your turn to tell the partner your version of the story. All right? And if you're hesitant, ask the student to tell in English first. He or she may be more comfortable first doing it in English, and then go to the Cherokee. But in any case, this is just to kind of give you an idea of this method. I've been doing it, and my students seem to like it. I'm new at it also. I've traditionally taught languages using a more grammatical approach. Eventually, what your goal is to get them to retell the story using a different person. For example, I'm hungry. I walk south. I want persimmons. All right. So that would be how you would teach the grammar from going from they to I. Because you'd be using different agreements. So in any case, I'm not going to keep your time anymore on that, but you're welcome to take these sheets. These were some, like I said, notes I picked up from the conference. Please feel free, I'll write this on the board if you want to get more information about TPRS. Just go to the website and do what you think.
Interesting, isn't it? Now, it just occurred to me that I didn't say much about who goes to this conference. Let me just tell you a little bit about who some of those people in the audience were. The conference basically addresses Oklahoma, well, teaching techniques, a little linguistics, and other sorts of tips to teachers or potential teachers of Oklahoma Indian languages. So most of the people in the audience there were from tribes in Oklahoma, many or most of them from language programs in their tribes, and some of them were presenters of their own workshops about what they're doing with their language. There were a few out-of-state guests as well, but it's mostly Indian people from Oklahoma that want to teach their own language. Now I have another segment, not quite as long, that I'd like to show another speaker from the same Preston conference this year. Her name is Lisette Peter, and she's from the University of Kansas. And she's going to be demonstrating a teaching technique that involves immersion, which we've talked about many times on the show. Basically, it means you don't use English. You speak only in the language that the students are trying to learn. They immerse themselves just in that language. So it uses immersion. It also makes some interesting use of visual art in the form of a picture book and of music. Now, in order to demonstrate this technique, she, not being a speaker of an Indian language, she has chosen French, which she speaks pretty well, and so she's using the French language to make her points. And I think it's interesting. It shows, among other things, it shows how easy language learning can be even without the use of English, if it's made fun, and if the presentation is a little bit planned ahead, and if there are nice props and a good, talented, involved teacher with the right sort of personality for language teaching, you can learn a lot in a very short time, and you definitely don't need English. Let's take a look at this tape.
Well, this room is so big, and my pictures are quite small, so I might just use this room here as my learning room. use 2 tables, all right? You'll be my learners. We'll have, you can all see this from where you are, can't you? You can see these pictures. I'll try to walk around. This isn't a very good. I'm also going to use psalms and things like that, so that those of you, 2 and 3-year-olds mostly. Okay.
Alors, les petits, comment ça va? Ça va bien? Ça va bien? Oui? Ça va? Ça va? Oui. Très bien, les enfants. Nous allons lire une histoire aujourd'hui. J'ai une histoire. Une histoire. Nous allons lire une histoire ensemble. Tout le monde ici. Alors, regardez. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est? C'était un oiseau. Très bien, très bien. Elle est très intelligente, l'effectif. C'était un oiseau, n'est-ce pas? Un oiseau. Un oiseau. Tout le monde dit ça. Un oiseau. Un oiseau. Un oiseau. Un oiseau. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Un oiseau. C'est un oiseau. C'est un oiseau. Un oiseau. C'est aussi un oiseau ici, n'est-ce pas? Un oiseau. Est-ce qu'il y a les autres oiseaux ici? Non. En dehors. C'est un oiseau, n'est-ce pas? Un oiseau. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Alors, écoutez. 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 Qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est? C'est un oiseau. C'est un oiseau. Alors, regardez. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est? C'est un oiseau. C'est un oiseau. Très bien, les enfants. Et quelle couleur? Quelle couleur est ce oiseau? Ce oiseau est bleu. Bleu. Ça, c'est bleu. Bleu. Tout le monde répète bleu. Ça, c'est bleu, n'est-ce pas? Qui a bleu? Montrez-moi.
Moi, j'en ai.
C'est une bleue chemise, n'est-ce pas? Bleu. C'est bleu, n'est-ce pas? Le sac là, c'est bleu. Quelle couleur est ça? C'est bleu. Alors. Quelle couleur est l'oiseau? Bleu, n'est-ce pas? Écoutez. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est? C'est un oiseau. C'est un oiseau. Il est bleu. Il est bleu. Très bien, les enfants. Très bien. Oh, vous chantez très bien. Encore une fois. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est? C'est un oiseau. C'est un oiseau. Il est bleu. Il est bleu. Très bien, c'est magnifique. Magnifique. D'accord. La prochaine. Écoutez, ça, c'est une mère. Une mère. Et ça, c'est ça, enfant. 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 Mère. Mère. Enfant. Mère. Enfant. Une mère. Une mère. Est-ce que tu es une mère? Une mère. Une mère. Un enfant. Est-ce qu'elle est une mère? Oui, oui, peut-être. Tu as un enfant, n'est-ce pas? Tu as un bébé? Oui, elle est une mère, n'est-ce pas? Il est enfant. Il est enfant. Un enfant, c'est n'est-ce pas? Alors, regardez ici. Regardez la photo ici. Regardez. l'histoire d'une mère oiseau. Elle est une mère et elle est un oiseau. Une mère oiseau et quoi? Un enfant oiseau, n'est-ce pas? Une mère oiseau, un enfant oiseau, n'est-ce pas? Une mère oiseau, un enfant oiseau, n'est-ce pas? Vous comprenez? Une mère oiseau, un enfant oiseau. Qu'est-ce que c'est, tout le monde? Une mère oiseau, et ça, le petit est un enfant oiseau, n'est-ce pas? Une mère, oh, c'est très gentil, n'est-ce pas? J'aime beaucoup. D'accord. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est? Écoutez, c'est une mère oiseau. C'est une mère oiseau. Elle est bleue. Elle est bleue. Très bien, vous êtes très intelligent. Et il y a une autre chose ici, n'est-ce pas? Qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est? C'est un œuf. C'est un œuf. Vous comprenez ça? Un œuf. J'ai mangé les œufs. Il est... Quelle couleur est ça? Il est jaune. 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 Ça c'est jaune. Jaune. Qui est jaune? Jaune. Jaune. N'est-ce pas? Ah oui. Willem, il a jaune t-shirt. Jaune. Alors, encore une fois, qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est? C'est un œuf. C'est un œuf. Il est jaune. Il est jaune. D'accord, écoutez l'histoire. Un jour, une mère oiseau restait sur son œuf. Vous comprenez? Un jour, une mère oiseau restait sur son œuf. Sur son œuf. Une mère oiseau restait sur son œuf. Une mère oiseau restait sur son œuf. Vous comprenez tout le monde? Qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est? Une mère oiseau, n'est-ce pas? Et elle restait sur son œuf. Très bien, vous êtes très intelligent. Et tout d'un coup, l'œuf a bougé. Tout d'un coup, l'œuf a bougé. Il a bougé. Tout d'un coup, l'œuf a bougé. A bougé. Pourquoi? Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? L'œuf a bougé. Et le mère oiseau a dit, oh, je vais avoir un enfant oiseau, un petit oiseau, un enfant oiseau. Il va avoir faim. Je vais aller chercher quelque chose à manger. Alors, la mère oiseau a quitté l'arbre pour chercher quelque chose à manger.
Wasn't that delightful? I thought she was very effective at using that technique. Before we close tonight, I want to make a quick announcement. The Intertribal Wordpath Society will be holding its second bookmarks reception on Saturday, November 17th from 11 to 1 at the Jacobson House in Norman. And this time we're going to be featuring the new Creek Dictionary by Jack Martin and Margaret Malden, which was published by the University of Nebraska Press. Came out this summer, I believe. We may have other books as well. That's the one we know for sure at this point, and there'll be a little bit of a Creek program, some music, I think, to go with that. And IWS will be there, and we'll have free bookmarks to give out, some that have language learning tips on them, as well as some artistic bookmarks from our recent celebration with the artwork from that on it. Margaret Malden will give a little presentation about the Creek Dictionary and about creating it, and refreshments will be served, so please join us. See you next time on Wordpath.
Na hene yo hene, na hene yo hene, ana magwana kita, wa pene manaone kita. Na hene yo hene, na hene yo hene, ana magwana kita, wa pene manaone kita. Na hene yo hene, na hene yo hene, ana magwana kita, wa pene manaone kita. Na hene yo hene, na hene yo hene, ana magwana kita, wa pene manaone kita. Na hene yo hene, na hene yo hene, ana magwana kita, wa pene manaone kita. Na hene yo hene, na hene yo hene.